Hello everybody and welcome back to QuipScope. It's a show where we talk about a game that has just come out. My name is Ben.
And my name is Peter.
Peter, you've been playing Trine 4.
You know I have.
We're big Trine boys, or girls, up in here. We love to play the Trines. We've been looking forward to Trine 4 for a while.
Yeah.
And you've been playing the ever-loving love out of it.
I sure have.
Tell me everything.
Well, love might just be the right word.
Oh!
I mean, I'll prefix this.
Prefix?
Preface. I'll prefix this.
I'll prefix this by saying preface.
Yeah. With the disclaimer that Trine is Trine. It's not a blockbuster. So when I say I love Trine, I'm not saying it's game of the year.
Right.
I'm not saying this is, move over Resident Evil 2. I'm not saying that's game of the year, right? But
it's got a special compartment in your heart zone.
Yeah, well, I guess I just mean that Trine 4, as a Trine game, has done a really good job. It's exactly what I wanted out of it, and in that respect, I love it, and I think it's well up there.
Okay.
Within the world of Trine games and 2.5D platformers, it's one of the best.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
Trine 3 sort of deviated from the normal Trine formula.
Yeah.
It had a sort of weird overworld map thing. Mm-hmm. Is that back?
Well, no. There's a map where you literally just go from level to level, but it's like a linear thing.
Okay.
So it's like almost any other game could have a very similar thing.
Right.
But no, there's no sort of big overworld. As far as I'm aware, it also doesn't deviate from the traditional formula in terms of gameplay. So I've not yet got to a point where there's any Z-axis, Z-depth.
Right, because there was a lot of that in
yeah, there was a fair bit of that. Trine 3 still felt like a kind of side-scroller for the most part. Like, you didn't really walk too far into the background. But yeah, it became a 3D game. This is decidedly a 2.5D game still.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm losing my voice.
Oh, sorry.
I'm choked up by how much I love it.
Love Trine.
So Trine, for those of you who don't know, it's about a magical sort of flying light bulb called the Trine.
Yes, I think that's it's from Homebase.
Yeah.
And it's the most magical. Did you ever use it? Oh, no, I'm going on a real tangent.
What's this?
I don't know if I should just stop myself or if we should just keep talking about the game instead.
Is it a long one?
Not really.
Oh.
I just wanted to ask you if you ever went into Homebase and got really excited about like the fake rooms that they had set up.
Yeah. Well, it's like IKEA, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose so. Yeah. Just I used to like to go into them and like pretend they were my room and like sit on the beds and stuff. Not get into them because I knew that wasn't right.
No.
But the one that I liked the most had the big floating light bulb in it called the Trine bulb.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on Homebase and if you've been for a while. I miss Homebase.
I don't know if I've been to many Homebase.
Home
the plural of Homebase. In any case, there's a big flying light bulb, and in this fantasy fairytale world of Trine, it brings together a wizard called Amadeus, a knight called Pontius, and a thief called the other one. Zoya. I think it's Zoya. They're three heroes. They have all different abilities, and you can play Trine in a 3-player multiplayer format. So you've all got a character each, or you can play it on your own and just sort of cycle between them, and you kind of swap between the characters on the fly, and you do all kinds of puzzles using all kinds of different abilities.
Yeah.
Now in Trine 4, what they've done is something that I think is at first glance would disappoint people who've played all the other games and maybe have their own favorite character that they like to play.
Okay.
But when you look at the bigger picture, I think it was the right thing to do. So in some ways, they've actually nerfed all of the characters.
Right.
So, for example, you're a Pontius fella, aren't you?
I do play as the knight.
When we play together as a 3, and he had this sort of throwable hammer that was like, it would home back to him like a boomerang. Anything it hit would get destroyed. It's a ranged weapon, effectively. Now, he no longer has that.
Okay.
But what that means is that Zoya, as an archer, becomes more useful and has much more of a role as I am the person who can shoot things from a distance. So, oh, look up there, there's a thing dangling from a rope. I'll shoot the rope for you, and then it comes down. Likewise, now Pontius has this floor stomp ability that allows him to, there's all kinds of things. You can like break through levels of floor and get down underground.
Yeah.
Or you can smash on one side of a seesaw that has a cube on the other end. The cube goes up into the sky, and when it lands on the seesaw, it launches either Pontius if he stays there, or someone else who quickly jumps on.
Okay.
So, in that respect, I feel like everyone now has more of an independent...
More of a role to play.
More of a role to play than they did in previous ones. The game has always been that they're all supposed to have their own role, but it's always been almost maybe just slightly too freeform, to the point that certainly the wizard would be able to just carry everyone on a box to like get up the next ledge. You know, there were a lot of times where when we've played, we've just gone, "Oh, wizard, please just do this thing for me."
Yeah.
And yeah, I do feel like now, in a good way, they've taken away certain abilities that mean that no one now is a kind of omnipotent kind of thing.
Can just do everything.
Yeah, you rely on each other a lot more, and I think that works.
Okay, I like the sound of that actually. So everyone's got a more specialized role to play. So when you're doing co-op, you feel like you have a responsibility. You feel like, don't worry, I need to do this.
Yeah, and you need to do that.
We did rely an awful lot on the wizard in the past.
We did, yeah. So there are some old features that are, I think, taking a more prominent role. One thing that right from the get-go it becomes very obvious is that there are these surfaces now that are very sticky. So what there used to be occasionally was spiky pits in the previous Trine games.
Yes.
Where you could lay a plank or a cube or something, or even up a wall that would stick into a wall if there's spikes sticking out. They've now done more of those, but sometimes they are spiky pits, but sometimes they're not. So it's not much of a spoiler. In the very first moment of the very first level, when you're dropped into Amadeus's boots for the first time, and he goes, "Oh, I'll just walk along the mountain, have a nice walk."
Yes.
As they do at the start of Trine.
They love having walks.
Yeah.
They're always going on walks.
He can now place planks and objects into sort of little... there were these little piles of snow, and all you do is wedge it in there, and it will stick up even, just into the air.
Oh, okay.
So you can have this plank that's like at a 45-degree angle.
Right.
And as long as you wedge the end into this pile, and you can always tell when it's a sticky surface, because there's like a little very subtle twinkly glow effect to it.
Right.
So you're surrounded by snow, but there's this little pile of snow with a little twinkle on it, and that means that an object will stick to that, which is, it's useful.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to play it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
You played it by yourself so far, right?
I have, yeah.
So have you been switching between the characters as and when you need to?
Yeah, and I was surprised, because actually that's the first time I've ever had to do that in Trine. I've only ever played Trine in a 3-player multiplayer setting. And I wondered, when we used to play multiplayer, like, oh man, how would I do this on my own? Now I can't speak.
Live without you guys.
Yeah, I can't speak for the old games as to how easy they are or aren't as solo, but definitely Trine 4 feels very much like you can complete it solo with ease. I mean, there's still definitely like puzzling elements to it. I'm not saying it's always a simple solution, but what I mean is you're not sort of having to, drop a plank from really high up so that it falls just at the moment where you've had to run and jump as a different character.
Sort of have to MacGyver your own
Yeah,
solutions
exactly.
to
It doesn't feel like that at all. So, so far I've not had any issues in terms of wishing that I had a buddy with me to help me with a puzzle,
Right. Are there still chests and where you can collect things? Are there like XP bottles where you can an upgrade tree and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, there's all of that. That's all back. There's the XP bottles that are all hidden in special places. Again, they can now they feel like they can only be accessed by certain people at certain times in a really good way. It feels like, oh, I'll get that one and you get that one. There is a tree. It's a simpler XP tree in that most of the time now, abilities are unlocked just when you hit a certain level of XP. So it used to be that you would level up when you hit a level, you would gain a point that you could spend on a new ability. But now, when you just hit 1,000 XP because you've been collecting it, everyone unlocks their.
Oh, so everybody gets a skill point that they can spend.
Yeah, you don't spend it.
Oh, okay.
So there's a couple that you spend to unlock the abilities. Right. So it's like this tree where all down the left side, it's just these levels that unlock, or these abilities that unlock whenever you just hit the next level. So it's like, you'll unlock this when you've got 1,000 XP. Mm-hmm. You don't have to spend anything. It's just we've found so many bottles, and now look, we've all just unlocked our level whatever spell. Mm-hmm. And then branching off that, there's a couple of extra ones that you choose to invest in.
Okay.
So it's in a way it's more simplified because you don't have to worry about like spending it on, in a sense, what might seem like quite a basic skill. Sometimes it'd be like, I want the wizard to have 2 boxes. That would be really handy, but I've got to actually spend a point on that. That just seems like, a bit of expensive waste.
Thing. It sounds like the developers are trying really hard.
Very good. That's the quip.
Yeah, there it is.
They are. Hello.
There's so much. There's the most amount of noise, and now they're hoovering.
They're hoovering.
It's the most amount of noise. Hopefully, it hasn't picked up on these microphones. I'm sorry to interrupt the show, but it's just the most. We're in the creakiest building. It's a new build, but it's so cheap.
We don't normally.
It's just the loudest noise I've ever heard.
We usually do QuipScope downstairs, which is not as bad, but
it's bad in a different way.
Well, it is actually, yeah. One other thing that I think they've really improved upon, and I think they had to think long and hard about this. Remember the boss fights in the previous Trine games? Which,
yes,
you had to think about that because they're
really memorable, aren't they?
Very simple.
You mean Big Orc?
Exactly. So the boss fights in previous Trine games were either just a really big enemy who you just have to make sure you hit him 25 times instead of 3 times.
Yes,
right?
Yes, a lot of times.
Or maybe some sort of big, what is essentially just a moving piece of scenery, like, it's the giant snake, but really it's just a head sticking out of a hole, and you have to just,
bash it,
or shoot the explosive barrel next to it, or whatever. Nothing too clever. There are some really interesting developments in Trine 4, and one of them is that there are some boss fights that actually feel like boss fights now.
Right.
So very early on in the game, you fight a big. I don't want to be too spoilery. It's not the most in-depth narrative in the world, but I'll keep it secret from you.
Yes.
But you fight this big monster, and he has, he's got sort of cycles and a weak spot. There's lots of minions around him who are trying to attack you while you're fighting him, and these different platforming levels appear for you to hop up and stomp on him. So you kind of feel like you are clambering around. They've done it in the best way they can, given the the mechanics of the game.
Yeah.
And he's got a big old health bar. It felt like more of a challenge than, oh look, here's an orc who's twice the size of the other orcs.
Okay, well that's cool.
Let's smash him.
They do a little bit of a Shadow of the Colossus almost.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. It's in the closest
sort of
way that it's like Shadow of the Colossus in that sense.
It sounds great. I'm really looking forward to playing it. Would you say how would you rate it so far compared to the other ones?
Having not played it as a 3, there is an element of I'm having less wild hysterical fun.
Right.
Because we get very silly with it.
Yeah.
And actually the game, I'm not really sure if they've ever addressed this before, but the game knows that everyone trolls each other when they're playing Trine.
Does it?
Because under skill tree, there's certain things where it says Zoya's rope can now be used to attach, or she can attach more ropes to things. So Zoya can now pin one rope from one object to another,
right,
and build a line, like a tightrope that you can walk across.
Okay.
So that's really fun. Or she can string objects together, physics objects together, onto windmills and stuff. But it says Zoya can now unlock 2 ropes, which means she's even more likely to tie her friends together or something.
Nice.
And then there's one where it says something like, the wizard can now hurl his boxes around at high speeds, much to the concern of his comrades or something. So they know that that's what Trine is about,
Having fun with your friends.
Yeah.
And so far, you've been having fun on your lonesome.
I have been having fun.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I've been enjoying it very much, and it's hard to rate it against 3 other games, given that I've kind of played those in a very different setting, and I've been having having a few beverages with my friends and being silly.
Well, would a better question then be, do you think the changes that were implemented from 2 to 3 are better or worse than the changes implemented from 3 to 4?
I think 3 to 4 is a bigger. 4 is an improvement on 3, and 3 was worse than 2.
Okay,
so
well there we go. I think that's a shining compliment then.
Yeah,
for that game.
definitely. And I can't wait. Like with those changes in mind, I can't wait to play it as a 3.
It will be fun. I'm looking for. I think I might just wait until then to play it.
Yeah, maybe we.
We'll probably stream some at some point, so we can play it as a 2. But I'm looking forward. Yeah,
I'm actually reluctant to play anymore. Like I wanted to play enough that we could do some coverage on it, but now I don't want to play the whole thing because I want us to all play it together.
Sure.
So I might stop as well now.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
of course. Well, there we go. I'd like to thank Jake at Dead Good Media for providing us with codes for Trine 4. Trine 4 is available now on PlayStation 4 and several other platforms as well. And yes.
This footage, by the way, is not me.
No, it's not. I understand that it's problematic footage in that the person playing it is not massively competent.
No, they're doing some silly things sometimes, so I just wanted to put that out there. I'm not this bad at trying.
Thank you to citation in the top right of the screen for the use of their footage. Well, Trine 4, it's out. We've been looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Can't wait to play it. And I'm sure we'll cover it a bit more on the channel in the future. We'll probably stream it at some point, although I'd imagine that we would both like to wait until after we've played it as a 3 before we go in as a duo to play it on stream. But it's also 4-player co-op, this one, as well, so you can play it with a 4th friend if you like.
Fantastic.
Not entirely sure how that works, and we'll probably still play it as a 3, but there you go. Right, you got any quips, Peter, before we go? Trine 4, more like... There you go, I set you up. Trine 4, more like...
Trine 4, more like Trine 4.
There we go. That was a good one. Trine 4, more like Trine Great.
Whoa.
Trine 4, more like Trine... Yes, please. That was a better one.
Trine 4, more like Fine. Fine 4. Yeah.
Fine 4.
Fine 4.
Fine 4. Trine 4, more like... Yeah.
Whoa.
Dot ellipsis.
Yeah, more like Zoya.
Zoya. Pontius, more like your game is on Pontius.
Oh, very good. I like that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Amadeus, more like...
I'm mad for this game.
Yes.
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 That's the one.
Don't think we're going to get any better than that. Thank you for watching, everybody. We'll be back with another QuipScope at some point. Bye.
We shouldn't have called the show QuipScope.
No,
it's an uphill struggle.
Disastrous.
Every time.